Like I'm streaming. Let me just double check real quick that I actually am. If I'm not, then I don't know what is going on. Okay, it's streaming. It is working. That is good. It's about time that it actually decided to work. Let me just go into my chat box thing real quick. Okay, welcome to the chat room. Let's see how this goes. So, of course, a brand new version of AutoPack has been released to the public for to the public for private use by StarGT, and so yeah, why don't I take a look at it? It's actually version 1.7.1. The beta was actually version 1.7. So yeah, he fixed quite a few things actually with AutoPack. So let's take a look at the vehicles again. I will explain what vehicles have been fixed and which ones have remained to be perfectly normal. So here's the McLaren 650S Spider. This one actually didn't get any kind of changes to it whatsoever. It was basically perfect as it was. It didn't really need much changes. As you can see, the doors open and stuff like that. The roof actually comes off, and this is a scratch built model as well. So, but StarGT was not actually the one that built the whole entire thing. Some guy made it, and he just improved upon it. So yeah, as you can see, everything works. Windows roll down and stuff. As you can see now, the windows are going to roll back up. So now we have here the... Let me actually get over there and go across this stupid thing. So the Porsche, here we have the Porsche 911 GT3 RS. This thing actually had quite a few improvements done to it. It had problems with acceleration. And so, yeah, StarGT actually improved upon this thing a lot. It's absolutely perfect. I managed to actually get it pretty darn close to being perfect. But in the end, he made it even better. So now it competes with basically anything in A2 class right now. Before it could hardly compete. And so yeah, now these cars aren't actually going to be 100% like from the AutoPack. And some of these cars actually mess with the traction control because well, they spin their wheels quite a bit. This is one of the cars that had this issue, the 911 GT3. But yeah, as you can see, it's a fully working car. This is actually not exactly the one from the AutoPack. This is actually the track edition, and hopefully there'll be a alternate pack for this car in the near future. So yeah, because I like the track edition a lot. The only differences between the track edition and the one from the AutoPack that he StarGT used is the headlights, the interior. The interior has a 6-point harnesses on the track edition, a roll cage, and of course slightly different GPS as well. But yeah, let's get into this bad boy. I don't know why the gauges sometimes don't work on this car, and I can't look back either, so yeah, that's kind of a bug with these modded cars. I don't know why sometimes they just certain things don't work with them. But yeah, overall this car is basically absolutely perfect. It accelerates perfectly, gets to its top speed perfectly, and stuff like that. Here we have the Aston Martin Vanquish. This thing didn't actually need too many improvements. This thing actually had problems with the traction control being kind of messed up. So I fixed that myself. It's not going to actually be like that on AutoPack. But yeah, I guess I could, if somebody wants it, I could provide you the traction control settings to make this thing just a little bit better. But yeah, overall, this thing is just basically perfect as it is. And of course, it has its own sound, it has its own gauges. This was actually replaces the Aston Martin DBS Carbon Black Edition because, well, it was a useless car. We already have a DBS in TDU2. We don't need two versions of it. The only difference between the Carbon Black Edition is the fact that the Carbon Black Edition is only available in black. It only has one rim option and it only has one interior option. That's literally the only difference between the DBS and the DBS Carbon Black Edition. So yeah, it's kind of nice that StarGT added the Vanquish into the into TDU2 AutoPack and replaced a useless car in the process. So here we have the Aston Martin V12 Zagato Villa de Este, I believe that's how you pronounce it. As you can see, the doors open up and everything else like that. Forgot to go into the Vanquish, but I'll go back to it in a bit. But this replaced the Aston Martin V12 Vantage Carbon Black Edition, which again, that was another useless car. It's just as useless as the Aston Martin DBS Carbon Black Edition. And so yeah, it's kind of a little bit weird. So yeah, overall the interior is pretty cool. It's actually got a little GPS right up on top of the dash, but that's actually supposed to be a speedo, a digital speedometer on the real live one. But of course, TDU2 doesn't support analog and digital tachometers for some reason. So yeah, let me actually go back into the Vanquish. I'll go into the interior and rev it for you guys real quick. But yeah, overall, this is a pretty nice model as well. It's got the actually a different sound as well from the standard DBS, but this one actually has the V12 Vantage standard sound as well onto it. But well, that's kind of to be expected because the V12 Zagato and the V12 Vantage use the same engine sound. So yeah. Now we're moving on to the Mazda RX-7. This thing actually didn't get into any improvements really. It was already good enough as it is. As you can see, the doors open and everything else like that. There's a weird little glitch with this thing where you actually, in order to get into the driver's seat, you have to get in from this side, which is kind of weird. So as you can see, it has its own sound. Kind of. I mean, it doesn't sound exactly 100% perfect, but I guess it's better than absolutely nothing. And of course, a lot of these cars actually have their own license plate. So you see the RX-7 has its own plate. The Vanquish has its own plate. The only thing that doesn't have its own plate is the 911 GT3 Track Edition. That's because, well, that's an alternate car, kind of, and I modded it in myself because it was supposed to replace the R-Turbo, and Star GT hasn't done an official replacement vehicle pack for that car yet. So here we have the BMW M4 Akrapovic, which is another car that was added into TDU2 as well. This actually is its own car. It doesn't replace anything in the game. It's a brand new car. Same with the RX-7, the 911 GT3, and the 650S. But the Vanquish and the V12 Zagato replace something. So let's get into the interior of this bad boy. Now the engine sound is actually not 100% accurate. And my favorite part about this car in particular, the M4, is the RPM gauge. And that is, it has some lights that actually follow the RPM gauge as you rev it, which that's a nice little feature, and it's actually linked with the RPM needle. But yeah, on the real life M4 would actually have a series of lights near the RPM red line, and of course it's kind of like a little focusing, microscopic focusing thing to help you see when you're actually reaching the red line, because yeah, there's videos on YouTube about it, and I'll probably post a link in the description showcasing how the interior works on that car. So here we have the Nissan 300ZX Twin Turbo. Now this is actually replacing a car in TDU2 as well, and it replaced the Nissan 370Z optional parts. And the reason why is because it was basically a completely useless car. The 370Z optional parts, I had the same stats as the base 370Z. The only difference is the color, the rims, a livery, and yeah, that's basically it. It was just a direct copy-paste of the standard Nissan 370Z. So yeah, as you can see, it's got its own, by the looks of it, it's got its own engine sound, actually. But yeah, I'm not actually sure. And of course, with this car, since it's right-hand drive, you actually have to enter from the left side of the car in order to get into the driver's seat, which is kind of weird and kind of annoying at the same time. And of course, it also looks like it has a pretty high ride height, but actually no, that's the rim, that's the tires, giving that kind of weird illusion because the wheel wells are the same color as the tires. So now moving on to the final pack, add-on car of the pack, the Maserati MC12. Now this is actually one of my favorite cars ever made in the world. In the world, I've actually had the liberty of seeing one of these in real life, and in my opinion, this has got to be one of the most beautiful cars that has ever been made during its time. I don't remember exactly when it was made. I think it was made around 2002 to 2004 or 2005. I'm not exactly sure, but still, nonetheless, this is an absolutely gorgeous looking car. Now, for some reason, there's a fog light located inside the grille. The real live one doesn't really have that, but I'm not exactly sure. I'm not 100% an expert on what car has the fog lights and stuff like that. Now we're in the interior of this car, and as you can see, the doors open and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. Of course, it has a really nice engine sound as well. Now, there's actually a pretty interesting glitch with this car. Because this car actually had to replace the Enzo, and this is basically a long-tail version of the Enzo, you can actually walk into the car like this. So that's a strange glitch, but there's nothing you can really do about that because, well, this was supposed to replace the Enzo, and of course, again, this car is very, very long compared to the Enzo. I'm pretty sure at the front you can actually do the same thing, but at the sides, it doesn't look like you can get into the car very much. So as you can see, yeah, the collisions are kind of weird with this car, but to be honest, you won't really notice it most of the time when you're driving it. Man, I remember seeing this car in real life, and I absolutely love those grills up on top of the thing. This is a brilliant car. It's an amazing looking car. I just love it. And it's actually paintable as well. Thankfully, StarGT took my advice and made it paintable, because the stock color on this car is actually not 100% perfect. It's kind of a silverish color. But for me, I made it a glossed white just to make it look a lot more realistic. And so yeah, it looks a lot better. So now that we have the Maserati MC12 selected right here, let's take this thing for a drive. As you can see, it has its own gauges, has its own sound. Of course, there was actually nothing done with this Maserati MC12. This thing was already perfect as it is. So go in the interior. We have turn indicator lamps. The right and left turn indicator lamps are actually linked to one light, which is interesting. We have the low and high beam lights in the interior. The gauge isn't actually 100% work, but we got a tachometer and a speedometer. So we have the rear lights with license plate lights. We have the front lights, but the front lights look a little weird because, well, the light glow textures make it look just a little bit weird. But if you look at it like this, you won't really notice it. But yeah, turn indicator lamps. The turn indicator lamps are actually kind of bluish colored in the center, and then they illuminate orange. On the front, turn indicator lamps, parking lights, right indicator lamp as well. One reverse light because that's a rear fog light on the left side of the car, that little red light there. So let's take this bad boy out for a drive. This model was actually made by StarGT. There was a model that was made by TDU Chicken, which had the livery edition, but it wasn't 100% perfect. The textures weren't 100% perfect. The livery was completely permanent, and it was a matte colored livery, which wasn't realistic at all. It had to be glossy like this in order for it to be 100% perfect. But now, since StarGT created his own model, it looks absolutely amazing, and I love it. Of course, I forgot to mention the little fog light in the grille actually works as well, which is kind of cool. I guess it's a nice addition. But again, the MC12 doesn't really have a fog light in the front grille. I've seen a real live MC12 and it doesn't have that. But then again, this is probably rendered out of Forza or something, so yeah, StarGT probably couldn't really remove that front fog light. Whatever, I'm not too mad. It's still a really, really nice, amazing looking car. And of course, I'm driving in offline mode with these mods, but you can go into online mode. Just be warned that other players won't be able to see your car properly. They're going to get an unfinished car as showing up for them. So now let's go and get the... let's go and get the Nissan 300ZX twin turbo and drive it. As you can see, it has its own gauges again. And it has dual exhaust as well. It even has a roll cage. Let's see, what does the roof option do? Oh, it takes the roll cage out. And it also removes the roof, which is pretty darn cool. Again, because this is a target top version of the 300ZX, which is pretty cool. So I like that little feature of it, so let's actually stop over here. Roll the windows up again. So we have right turn indicator lamps, left turn indicator lamps, we have the headlights at the front, which look absolutely amazing. Rear lights, reverse lights, where there's quite a bit of reverse lights as well, and we also have license plate lights as well, which is very nice, very handy. Interior, we have the headlights that glow, the little headlight indicator that glows, turn indicator lamps, but of course there's a weird little manual transmission glitch with this driver. Hey! As you can see, it kind of reaches down to nowhere to get the shifter, and as you can see, it looks pretty cool at the back as well. Oi! I am not driving very well all of a sudden. I'm driving like an imbecile. But here overall, I like this car as well. This is a very nice addition to TDU Test Drive Unlimited 2 AutoPack, which is pretty cool. I like this a lot. So let's see what else. Oh, and of course, StarGT said he's already working on AutoPack 1.8, and he's doing kind of like a classic type pack again, which is pretty cool. He's already got some candidates out for the packs, so but I can't really say right now because yeah, he's still working on it only. Hopefully he'll add a Ford GT40 because that thing is a classic race car and it's awesome. I would love to see that come into TDU2. So yeah, here we go. Now let's get back into the house and drive yet another car for from AutoPack. Let's take the BMW M4 actually, and of course I don't actually have this on me right now, but there's actually a BMW M4 Akalapovic exhaust mod that somebody made. I forget what it was username was, but yeah, this is the AutoPack sound. It's not 100% realistic, but I guess it's better than nothing. I guess it does sound like a BMW M4, but at the same time, it doesn't have that Akalapovic sound. Again, the cool interior gauges. So we have tourniquet lamps on the interior, low and high beams. We actually have some kind of seatbelt warning light hanging out on the inside. We have a GPS. Very cool looking interior. But for some reason, there's a glitch with this car where it's a manual transmission, but it's actually not. The car has DRLs on the front. We have the low beam headlights and high beam headlights. Front tourniquet lamps. There's a glitch with this car actually where, I don't know if you can see it. It's very slight. You can see the tourniquet lamps are actually glowing when I press the brakes, which is interesting. Again, right indicator lamps. We have very cool looking tail lights on the back. The brake lights are kind of weird, but that's the best that StarGT could do as far as he said. We have reverse lights. Is there a reverse light indicator? No, there's not on the interior. But yeah, let's take this bad boy out for a drive. Let's go into the, oh shoot, interior view. Yeah, this thing has a tendency of wanting to slide its back in now, but it's a lot better than the Nissan 370Z and the Aston Martin Vanquish, where they wanted to spin out and kill you. On the GT3 RS also had issues like that. So, but I fixed the traction control on that thing as well. Which, yeah. And the interior view works perfectly fine as well. You can see all around, and there's a man of the Lotus. I kind of wish I got the Akalapovic exhaust sound for this car, because it sounds absolutely amazing. Even the startup sound is amazing. There's like nothing, and all of a sudden it's just makes a really, really cool growling sound when it starts up. But yeah, it has its own rims. This Akalapovic exhaust livery can actually be removed if you so desire, but I'm actually going to keep it for this video. I like the Akalapovic exhaust livery, but again, it's a permanent livery on this car, so you can't really remove it. But if you want to remove it, all you got to do is take it to the sticker shop, paint it whatever color you like, and then take a sticker, put it to 100% transparency, stick it on a random part on the car, and then just exit the sticker shop and the livery will be gone. That's literally all you gotta do. You don't even need to cover the whole entire thing up with invisible stickers. You just gotta place it on one part of the car. I recommend the roof. But the sticker mapping on this car is kind of weird. I wanted to do like a black roof on this car, but it turns out it doesn't actually work. The mapping is really strange on this car, on the M4. So yeah, now let's take the Mazda RX-7. I don't know why I said it with an accent there, but whatever. As you can see, it has its own gauges again. All these cars actually have their own gauges, basically, except for the V12 Zagato. But yeah, overall, very, very nice. Of course, it has pop-up headlights. We have tourniquet lamps, left and right. We have the tail lights. In fact, for some reason, the brake lights and the tail lights are on separate things, but the brake lights should be linked up on all fours of there. I don't know how to explain that to you, but yeah. We have tourniquet lamps on the interior. Don't know where they're really coming from. We have no headlight indicator or whatever, but we actually have a little light in the bottom right corner that tells you when you're braking on the interior, which is pretty cool. But yeah, overall, this is a pretty nice sound, actually. It's not the worst sound possible for this car, but could have been a lot worse. Hey, pop-up headlights camera right here. But yeah, overall, I actually don't think this thing actually belongs in A5. I think this car belongs in C3, maybe, yeah, C3 class, which, again, that would be a perfect car for the class for this car, because this was made in the 1990s. But then again, it's still a relatively new car. Also, I forgot to mention, if you do the roof option, you can actually remove the rear wing if you so desire, which is quite a nice feature, I guess. If you're into that kind of stuff for making the cars look really clean, just by removing the roof. Hey. That was a little too close. And this thing has backfires and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. It's kind of nice that he added that. Some of the cars don't have backfires. The LaFerrari didn't have them for some reason. Don't know why. Probably forgot to add them in, but whatever. So drive back to the house and get another car. So yeah. Get in the garage. You're in my garage. So now I guess let's take the Aston Martin Vanquish. And I'll show you some of the cool features on this car as well. And my mail lady has come. So yeah, here we are making a stop right here. Now, as you can see, this car actually has headlights as well, but the headlights are kind of overdone. I don't know why he made the headlights so sophisticated and everything, but whatever. We have turn-indicator lamps, which actually get kind of covered up when you have the lights on. You can't really see them very well, but we have the lights, turn-indicator lamps at the back. Reverse lights, really nice looking tail lights. And on the interior, there's actually a really nice feature as well. When you turn the lights on, the little GPS pops open. And that's actually linked with the headlights, so the game actually thinks that the car has pop-up headlights, but it actually doesn't, so there's a delay when you turn the lights on. Interior turn-indicator lamps, you can't really see the left one, but the right one you can see perfectly fine. And the Vanquish interior is actually inspired off of the Aston Martin 177, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So the center console is very much the same as the Aston Martin 177. As you can see, the lights are actually on now on this car, which is pretty nice. And the GPS pops up as we were driving. Holy cow. Yeah, this, even with the traction control settings, this car still has issues with wanting to drift like mad. And I don't know exactly what's going on. I don't know if I can fix that. I'll try my best, I guess, with my own tune, and then I'll provide it online. But I guess it isn't that bad. It's a nice little car to actually hoon around. Oh crap. Now that's why you don't look back while you're driving, kids. Okay? Okay. And that's also why you don't look at your phone when you're driving. In this case, I was looking at the Twitch chat. So far, there's nobody really watching, but whatever. Oh, and the engine sounds pretty nice on this car as well. Sounds pretty good. Oop. Oh yeah, there's a little thing that actually got changed on this thing. This thing actually has its own gauges now, which is pretty cool, I guess. Let's drive into the house. The brakes feel kind of spongy, but I don't know. Maybe upset because I'm just braking too late. Now let's take the probably one of my most favorite cars in the pack, the Aston Martin's V12 Zagato. As you can see, the lights are already on. Now, there was actually an issue with this car before when it was released as a candidate, kind of, as a extra mod, and that is the rear light was actually white. The little lower racing light was white when it should have been red. But yeah, as you can see, it has turn-indicator lamps. The turn-indicator lamps are actually kind of hard to see when the lights are on full brightness, but I can't actually change the brightness of the lights because if I toggle them, then it'll just turn them on and off. Front of your turn-indicator lamps. On the interior, we have that too. We have the little indicators in the dash as well for the lights. And we also have a GPS, but that, like I said before, that's actually supposed to be a digital speedo, but that doesn't work in TDU2 for some reason. There's also a glitch with this car where it says it's a stick shift, but it's actually not, but that's actually pretty simple to fix. All you gotta do is go into VP and program it to be a sequential gearbox. And I forgot to mention, if you do the roof option, you can actually take off the rear wing and the roll cage, which is a very nice feature, and then it looks absolutely clean. I actually prefer both looks, but I'm going to drive around without the wing right now, and of course it's having trouble getting into gear for some reason. Going up on a hill. But whatever. Let's get going. But yeah, overall, I really like the whole entire new AutoPack thing with all these new cars and so forth. It's a fantastic pack. I applaud you, StartLT, for doing such a good job on making these packs so good. Also, you might notice that I actually have Traffic Mod on. That's this little mod that I got from StartLT's Facebook page. As you can see, here's a car with traffic car that's a real live car as well. I just like this feature. It makes the game feel more immersive and realistic. And then there's a random traffic car over there. The old traffic car. But yeah, overall, this is a fantastic car. With just this feature of being able to take the rear wing off in the roll cage, that's a very, very cool feature. This isn't the first time it's actually done that. There's a lot of cars in AutoPack that actually have this feature. The Jetta G40 actually has that feature that to be able to remove the roll cage and then some other parts as well. Now here's the Porsche 911 GT3. Let's take this thing for a drive and see how this thing has actually been changed with this car. Now before, this car actually had quite a few issues. It had issues with acceleration, it had a bunch of issues, but now they're actually fixed. So as you can see, the main issue that this car had was the gauges. But now the gauges are actually properly calibrated. Before, when you just floor it, just floor the car, the gauge, the RPM needle would actually go completely off of the gauge. It would just stop at 10,000 RPM, but somehow keep going to 9,000, which was somewhere off the gauge. But as you can see, we have a lot of cool lights. We have the interior lights, turn indicator lamps. We actually have a little indicator for when you're braking. That's for both the track edition and the standard 911 GT3, which is the road-going version. But yeah, this thing doesn't really have any features. I actually painted my roof black on this car because I think it just looks a little bit better and cooler. Has rear license plate lights, so I forgot to mention. I don't know why I'm driving off. We have turn indicator lamps on the front and rear, of course. Reverse lights, which are in a slightly weird place. We have license plate lights. This thing doesn't actually have a license plate that says 911 GT3, but the one that comes with AutoPack actually has that. But I prefer the track edition because the headlights look a lot better. The roll cage is pretty darn cool. But yeah, they're basically exactly the same otherwise. Not excluding the headlights and stuff like that. The brake discs actually look a little weird on this car. I don't know why they do. Oh, that's a Lotus guy right there that was sitting next to me. But yeah, as you can see, the RPM gauge is perfectly fine. It actually accelerates a lot better than it used to. It's actually able to keep up with the GTR, even though it's a rear-wheel drive car. It's able to just outrun everything, even the all-wheel drive cars, which is nice, I guess. It deserves having a thing like that. But one thing StartLT couldn't do is actually put the four-wheel steering function on this car. So yeah, that's what this thing actually has in real life. It has four-wheel steering. The rear wheels don't turn that much, they just turn a little bit. But it's enough to actually make the car turn better at lower speeds and also have better agility at higher speeds. So at 60 miles per hour, the rear wheels turn opposite of the front wheels. And then above 60 miles per hour, the rear wheels actually turn the same direction as the front wheels, which improves stability. And at lower speeds, it's under 60 miles per hour, the wheels turning opposite will actually make the turning radius smaller, which is pretty cool on the GT3. And so yeah, we're getting pretty close to near the end. So let's take the McLaren 650S and drive this bad boy. Now this thing actually has a recycled gauge from the 12C, but in a way, you know, they have the same gauges in a way. It's not really too big of a deal. They use the same gauges. But yeah, as you can see, we have a lot of cool stuff. We have the headlights. We actually have DRLs, which is pretty nice. I like that feature of the DRLs that StartLT added. We have turn indicator lamps on the front and rear, brake lights, a reverse light that's mounted low down, and the option to actually remove the roof. There's no animation to it, it just disappears. But in a way, that's actually kind of hard to replicate. We have interior turn indicator lamps, we have headlights. The little parking light indicator actually illuminates all the time because it's linked with the DRLs. And we have a little GPS just like the 12C. So yeah, there's actually nobody in the chat. And my phone keeps locking because I don't even bother looking at the chat. But yeah, this actually has a sound mod as well. It doesn't have the recycled 12C engine sound. It actually has a sound that is from Shift 2, the McLaren 12C in Shift 2, which is pretty nice, I guess. I guess it sounds a little bit different. I mean, I think it's from Shift 2. I'm not exactly sure. It sounds a lot like it's from Shift 2. Yeah, let's put the roof back on because, well, it's raining. Wait a minute. It seems like the little rear clamshell behind the roof actually gets affected as well. A little bit. But yeah, overall this is a great pack. StarGT did a good job with this thing. It took a little bit of a while to get some of the cars fixed up, like the 911 GT3. Also, he didn't just add... There was one car he actually added to the dealership, which was upon by request by a lot of people, which you couldn't get before, but now you actually can get, and that is the Spiker C8 Aileron Spider, which people have been requesting. This is actually a casino-only car, but now you can actually buy it directly from the Spiker dealership with this new update, and of course you have a bunch of awesome cool colors you can put on this car as well, which is pretty nice, and a lot of interior colors as well. Lots and lots of interior colors. But yeah, that's basically about it. Also, let me show you real quick a mod that I made myself, that I programmed myself, that I replaced with the Mustang V6 Premium. This is actually a car that I made myself. I have made a mod myself. I will be still working on this car, and maybe I will release the tuning specifications of this car, the data. But overall, this is a fantastic car that I made. The doors don't actually work because, well, I don't know why. Probably because of the model. And of course, you might be saying, well, the rims are wrong as well. But if I go into the rim options, there they are. That's the Boss 302 rims. I actually programmed them to be the second rims because the first rims are 17 inches in diameter. But the rest of the rims after the first rims, the second, third, and fourth rim options are 18 inches. And I just chose to replace the second rim option. But yeah, I actually put it into A4 because, well, putting it into A5 would make its acceleration extremely overpowered. But yeah, let's take it for a test drive and show you what I've actually done with it. It has its own gauges as well. It's not a perfect model, I guess. It could have been a lot worse though. It has tourniquet lamps. There's a pretty cool looking interior as well. Overall, I like the 2013 Boss 302, but I prefer 2012 Boss 302. But yeah, I actually asked StarGT if he could add this thing into TDU2 AutoPack in the near future to replace the Mustang V6 Premium, and he said he'll think about it, basically. But yeah, this will be a very nice addition to a TDU2 AutoPack, in my opinion. Or we could have the classic Boss 302, which would fit in perfectly with version 1.8 of AutoPack. But yeah, I don't think he has a 3D model of that. Holy cow. I'm understeering. But yeah, like I said, this is a vehicle that I made myself. It's supposed to replace the Mustang V6 Premium or the Mustang GT. Either one will work. And it has its own stats and everything. Basically real-life stats. Or close to real-life stats. Well, actually, real-life stats in terms of performance, but handling might be a little bit different from the real-life one. But yeah, it's still kind of a work in progress. I haven't fully finished this car yet. It's still a work in progress, and I'll hopefully have this thing done and ready to be checked out later on. I'll have a couple other vehicles that I'll work on as well. Yeah, the engine sounds kind of not 100% realistic, but that's because I used the Mustang V6 Premium sound and I didn't bother to change it. Of course, it even has a damage model too. But yeah, that's it. Also, let me actually show you a couple of glitches with this mod. These glitches is not actually part of my fault. The rims are perfectly fine. The rims work perfectly fine, but the colors are messed up. Because this was originally supposed to replace this thing. So, yeah, if we actually go into the colors, go into buy and look at all the colors, you'll see all the colors are actually right here. But, yeah. yeah, it kind of messed it up. And the interior colors as well got messed up, which I'll show you right here. See, they don't actually work. Well, they kind of do, but I don't know. And the prices of the colors are still here. What the heck? But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this live stream. If you did, give my channel. Be sure to follow my channel for other broadcasts in the near future. And I shall see you guys hopefully in the next live stream. And hopefully, also if you haven't subscribed, check out my channel on YouTube, Michael B450. So thanks for watching, and we'll hopefully see you in the next one.